bickering and infighting at the moment.
That can be part of our show, man. Because I'm sick of it.
Bickering and infighting. Like it's struggle. Hey, I see my guy Justin on here.
Can't get a break. No,
I see it's Spencer King. Welcome to Above Average Black Man. We'll be getting started shortly. I feel like the man is always trying to hold us back. It's always one platform that wants to give us a struggle. Always one. Whether it's the volume, just the audio altogether, the music, or for those of you that are with us, thank you. Thank you. Tonight's episode, I feel like it's going to be pretty a rounded episode that we have here. Just discussing a number of things, current events, whether that's politics, as well as locally for us here in Philly, sports. If we can get to that at the end. Yeah. But a lot going on in the news. One thing specifically that's been in the headlines that I know we'll address and talk about is the CEO, Mr. Brian Thompson, that was murdered in cold blood in New York. And a lot of mixed feelings out there, shockingly, that I would say shockingly.
Mixed. It's people crazy. I'm just saying, your mom was watching the news last night. And the guy on the news was talking about, well, it shouldn't happen, but. Like, come on, man. What is the but? We can get into that.
No. I think, like, it'll be a lot to discuss and talk about because it's not like it's a small pocket of people. I think it's a lot of people who are more so on that side of, like, thinking that this was a sign to take down the man. And me and Justin, we was talking about this a little bit earlier, is where, like, that ain't going to change anything.
That's not why he did it. I mean, what drove him to it was, as I was reading it, dude had a back injury, chronic back injury, that I guess fell under pre-existing whatever that he couldn't get help for. So, which is kind of ironic because, and we'll get to the political scene, that's what the Republicans trying to do away with to make it worse. But he had a back injury. But he had planned it because he dropped off the grid. He didn't contact his parents. He just kind of dropped off the grid, man. But I was like, yo.
Yeah. I mean, and unless I know he planned it and targeted, him specifically because some of his health issues are concerned. Yeah. But it is people in the public who just think like, this was, maybe figuratively, literally, a shot at the man, like thinking that this is going to change kind of the political or
it's going to change because they got bodyguards,
right? And another thing changed too, like they just took down the people, so you don't even know. You have less insight to who some of those individuals are that are going to be in those positions of power. So it's going to be interesting to kind of see how things change moving forward in that realm. But it's a tragedy nonetheless, and it definitely highlights something in our society right now that I don't know, people wouldn't have felt like this years ago. I think, like, where somebody gets shot cold blood, regardless of the scenario, in the middle of the street like this.
Anyway, for our Podbean listeners, welcome to an episode of Above Average Black Men. We just kind of got Podbean.
Yes, thank you for joining
us. This is actually interesting. This is from CNN, by the way. It says the 3 9mm shell casings from the crime scene had the words delay, deny, and depose written across them, one word per bullet.
Healthcare terms.
Yeah, it said the police had been looking into whether the words, which titled a 2010 book critiquing the insurance industry, may point to the motive of the CEO Brian Thompson's killing.
When they locked dude up, when he was taking him in, he was screaming stuff about that. About how healthcare is, we have the most expensive healthcare, but it's the worst healthcare, and our life expectancy is lower than any other country. So let's go back to the two schools first. This is the thing that troubles me about America, that we would try to find a reason to justify somebody murdering somebody. And when I saw the news, my wife, your mom was watching it, I would have turned it off because in the news they were like kind of, not that it's good reason, but I'm saying, I'm like, wow.
But do you think something that has to do? This is like I was listening to a podcast the other day. I was talking about it, and something that was just kind of sticking out to me and bothering me is, and it's happening in media altogether. It's how they're talking about the shooter. Women are attracted to him, and they're talking about how his smile and all these other different things.
This is crazy.
And then on the other side, you hear Ivy League educated, great background, valedictorian of his high school. Like, so those things to be. Sometimes I wonder. I'm like, man, if he was of a different ethnicity, would they be searching and combing for all these great things?
No.
As to
it's funny because
bolster who this guy is.
When they were saying all this stuff, I was just waiting to hear one thing, and I took it. I breathed easy. He wasn't black. What's crazy? At first, but in my mind, I'm like, okay. Listen. And so all of the way to describe the Aki, when they said that he wasn't black, I was like,
how fast they put out this picture, I wasn't sure, and they said he was brown, so I was like, oh man.
Well, I mean, that's a big deal. You got to figure you put his picture out because that's what.
Yeah, but
healthcare has been with everybody. But healthcare has been at the center of man, so many arguments. And even when you hear media say is wrong, but you knew people were gonna rush to get the story out, man. I mean, this is the media, they sharks, man. This is about ratings. This is about who puts the best story out, who puts the best spin on it. They're not getting into the human part of it. It's like, we gotta say, and especially now because we talk about this all the time. You got to put somebody you want people to read because most people don't get it from social media.
Yeah, and I think what's kind of telling and scary in a way is like the reaction that we are getting here from people in society, where man, like the people who are kind of excited or happy to see this. So what's like, man?
So what's happening when you buy a car? You're not satisfied. You go back and shoot the dealer. Not you, but I'm just saying though.
That's really a question.
That's you go back and shoot the car dealer because your car's a lemon.
But what does that say about humanity in a way?
Yeah.
Does that make you?
I go to Walmart. I don't like the way she put my grapes in with my ice cream, so I got a problem. So I mean, and I think, and to me, and call it a stretch, but I think our political climate set the table for this because the terms they were using, murder, lynching, the different things they were using, just throwing back and forth. If I was in charge, I would wipe them all out. That's become almost common vocabulary. And everybody is not in a mental state to absorb that information and not have it impact them. Even if you talk about January 6th, the cops got killed. People still call those people patriots. Yeah. So we don't exactly, and I'm not bashing the United States. I know somebody's gonna text me tomorrow and say that, but we don't exactly stand here, clean in this situation.
Yeah, I think it goes even beyond our political kind of hemisphere and climate. I do think again, like in society today, people make it acceptable or find a reason for kind of negative behaviors.
But it gets validated when somebody famous does it.
Yeah,
it gets validated. It's like cults. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about people hear stuff from people who they deem as famous or influential, who have titles, and it makes it okay. It makes it okay. Like whether it's music, and you have this grandiose thing about music. 'Cause I won't talk about that because I watched Jamie Foxx's special with that.
We can talk about that. We'll get to that. We'll finish up.
That was interesting too.
Mr. Morris Jones, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting because, as much as we talk about we hate violence, as much as we talk about how civilized we are, how we supposed to be the most civilized country, we're the greatest country in the world. You got people coming out and you'll biscuit away from saying that was okay. And I noticed because nobody, the original stories, they never questioned his mental health. It was always, some people, they say, oh yeah, he got a history of this. The first thing that started coming out, even when they caught him, it was about that, this the whole healthcare thing.
Yeah.
People tired of healthcare. People tired of this. People tired of that. And I'm thinking like, wow, man. One if your brother, it would have been a total different thing.
Oh,
I don't even know if they would have took him alive.
But I don't doubt it would have been.
I had to laugh because you're gonna laugh when I say this. They got him in Altoona.
And McDonald's.
So brothers ain't hiding out in Altoona.
It's just stopping by.
Yeah, brother. So it's just crazy how we've kind of and how we've digressed. To that. and become numb that that's okay. That even people in the media were, almost justifying it. One guy says, yeah, well, because he had this pre-existing and rising cost of healthcare, he was just totally frustrated, and he acted out the way that, that he felt was best. I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, if everybody started acting out the way they thought that was best, we'd be in total chaos.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely, I feel like I've mentioned the references before, but I don't know if that's been on this show. Yeah. Certainly been in conversation before, but the idea of like history repeating itself, it's certainly going to look different, but it's like, the idea of the have and the have-nots, and like poor people eventually kind of getting sick and tired and seeing what's going on and revolting in some type of way. Not that this is it, but this is what people have in their mind or their idea.
But think about what you said earlier, which is so true. People saw it as a symbol of attacking a man.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, but I'm just saying though. I'm like, come on, man. I'm like, so how did that trickle down to you who's paying who you think maybe too high premiums?
Right.
Or how's that trickle down to you because you couldn't get the quality healthcare you want? It doesn't impact that one way or the other. They're not going to change their prices. They're not going to change the structure. And I got news for them. If you Republicans had it way, it's going, all that stuff's going to go up. So you go shoot every Republican now?
Yeah, every CEO.
And every CEO in healthcare you will take out. You have to get all the way down to the mailroom before I think about society fans and flame that. And I think, and we can see her, and not you because you agree with it, because we do talk about it. But I think powers to be don't understand the power of social media, the power and the responsibility when you have those platforms.
Yeah,
I think they just don't understand it, and I think that's part of the problem. Right, those are the things that we have to address. Whether it's music, like I give you the perfect example. I'm gonna give Justin a shout out. We went to the comedy show last week. And
great show, by the way.
That's been in my head all week. It's been,
great time.
It was certain things that I wasn't purposely thinking about it, but it was certain things that just stood up that just kept popping into my head, and that's how we are as human beings. And I just realized as Mars, our cousin, these are human beings. I just realized as human beings, not realize, but it just made me think about it, how delicate our brains are, how we just absorb information. And if you're not careful, that can become your truth.
So I got a question, because not too long ago, like the Menendez brothers, I don't know if you watched that documentary.
I know, like, what's the name trying to get them freed?
Yeah, but there was on Netflix, they like kind of had a whole docuseries, a re-dramatization of what happened. And like people want to get them out now. And like back in the day, like I guess the thing at the time was people thought they were attractive and like got sympathy from people because of like the situation that they were in. And in a way, I'm like, not that it's completely tied in this manner, like in terms of the example, but somewhat in a way where it's like, do you think, how like public perception or like just public feeling about this guy Luigi, is there any similarities to how it was?
Yeah, because we live in a society that's materialistic. So we look at, how often have you heard that person doesn't look like they could do that? That person doesn't look, because we do. We can look at somebody or something, and we form an opinion. It's no different when they say you fit the profile. You can, because what they're saying is we expect black people to act like you fit the profile.
Right.
So the country has been like that. I mean, if you go back to slavery, and this country was built on that premise. And what you see now is because now social media gets it out there faster. Is because social media is everything is on the spot. The news, you gotta wait till the time it's come on. Social media, man, is like sometimes it's live. Yeah, sometimes
it is live.
So
like we are right now.
So the information is coming out so fast, and the information most of the time on social media is manipulated because it's abbreviated, because it can't be too long, because they don't want people to pay a lot of attention. So they cut stuff out. So if you get inundated and that's your source of information, that shapes your right and wrong. And then what do they go to first? We'll look at the person. And you're a mass murderer and you look the part. So everybody you look good, so everybody has sympathy for you. No, come on, man. You just killed 25 people.
Yeah.
But you look good. So that just goes you the shallowness of where we are as a country, man. And we're still, in that mindset, man, that somebody can look like they can't do something, or they look like they're guilty.
So if he was ugly, they'd be ready to give him life.
Probably. Or they probably wouldn't even pay attention. Like I doubt very seriously if he was a Kardashian, we'd be trying to get him out.
If he was a Kardashian?
No, I said if they were ugly. I don't know how. Because they not out here trying to get no middle class people out.
I don't know.
It's innocent people that's incarcerated, the people not trying to get out. So I think that plays a role in it, but it goes back to me like how do we get that code that we're not troubled by this, and some of us are okay, trying to justify this in our minds. Okay, well, this, and I'm like, come on, man. I mean, you messed up my Whopper, so I'm gonna come back and shoot up the whole Burger King. I mean, where does it stop?
That's literally everything. Like, I'm
Yeah,
just
where
thinking
does it
about
stop?
it's really our politics kind of bleed over into everything, where it's like, you kind of make an excuse for unsavory or bad behaviors, like things that we know morally are wrong. We try to stand or make excuses for why we believe that, in this case, this is okay.
And the reason why I cited politics is not the only reason. The reason why I cited politics, because especially the presidential election, politics is the one thing that can galvanize people. That people that don't typically follow it. It's almost like the Super Bowl. People may not watch all year long, but when the Super Bowl come on, folks start paying attention. And that's why people spend so much for the commercials. And I think politics are the same way. When you get close to a major election, people pay attention. And America knows that we are a country of sound bites. We are a country of sound bites. So the trick is figuring out what sound bites do I put out there. For instance, you ever notice now, a lot of times you'll tap on an article and it has nothing to do with the title.
I mean, that's all the time. Clickbait.
Yeah, it's clickbait. So, but that's what America does. We put this,
or they just put something outlandish in the title.
We put something out there and you're not even paying attention, and some people don't go past the title.
Mm-hmm. And then that's actually the basis of where they're getting their knowledge from.
And argue now. That's the part that cracked me up.
Like that's.
Well, boy, everybody see I'm sporting the Pender hoodie tonight too. I want to make sure everybody sees it.
That's a dope hoodie. I like it. I really do.
Two of a kind.
Two of a kind?
Yeah, your mom got one.
Well, I'm making three.
I was thinking about getting y'all some, but I didn't think y'all want. I know y'all not into the dress alike thing.
No, it's cool. I just wouldn't wear it at the same time.
Everywhere I go, I get compliments. But
it is a nice one. It's nice.
But back to the I just think it just demonstrates where we are as society. Mm-hmm. And it kind of ties into other things you see. Like, for instance, you see Caucasian police officers getting off for murdering minorities. Cold picture case, everything, and so it just kind of trickles into that, man, where America has predetermined, who's a murderer and who's not a murderer based on what you look like, based on economic status. They figure out what your intent is. If you're poor, it was always the most vicious intent. If you're not poor, people rush to the aid that he must have some issues, or he was traumatized, or drugs. Now drugs is a disease. Before, Black people wasn't a disease. It was you locking folk up because of the epidemic.
The thing that blows my mind is when they're like, "Well, I don't see how he could do it. Like he's Ivy League educated," and it's like, wasn't some of these serial killers and stuff like that educated?
I heard somebody say that. He's smart. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Education has nothing to do with most people who struggle in mental health. They're not dumb. So I don't know why people think that. Why do people think that, man? And you just named it some of the smartest dudes, some of the best. I shouldn't say the best, but they were the best. No, but I mean serial killers. That's how they stayed. That's how they stayed.
Because
Charles Manson. That's why you couldn't get them, because they were smart.
So it's just like this idea. It's like it is little. How they talk about it is very telling.
But it normalizes if you have to accept the fact that somebody from the University of Pennsylvania who graduated with 2 degrees in this station in life, if you have to rationalize how that's now acceptable, that's almost a condemnation on the country, because the country will lead you to believe that poor people commit violent crimes and not so poor people commit white collar crimes. They do the little soft stuff. That's the way it is.
And that's again why I'm wanted to highlight that point of just how they talk about it, like the words that they use and like how they're describing him, and like it. In no other scenario would they be talking about.
But it was the same thing when the Caucasian dude came from Bucks County and stole a car and he shot the cop on Temple's campus. They caught a well-to-do family. It was out of the news in a week.
Yep, and
you didn't hear about it.
And all they talked about was how good of a family he came from, and how wealthy.
So it was out of the news in a week. After a week, you didn't hear anything about it. It took people clamoring and for them making a fuss before they even showed a picture of the dude.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This dude was killed a cop, a young cop, who was protecting somebody else's property.
He was doing his job.
Doing his job, yeah. So and then the shooter didn't need it because he was well off.
So like the whole situation there, like again. So,
but how did America look? You don't hear nobody. You want people to get it. You know, if it was a black dude who shot a white cop, it'd be all over the place, man.
Of course.
I mean, you keep hearing it over and over and over again. It wouldn't go away in a week.
All right. So another case that just took place. What's that white guy's name? Penny.
Yeah.
That just was kind of let off trial for choking out the homeless man on the train where he was defending other passengers because the homeless guy was being threatened. There's been kind of some mixed feelings about that, but what I found interesting in him being released is that there was a very similar case that was happening at the same time, where it was a black guy who actually stabbed the homeless man, and he didn't even go to trial. So there are people who were highlighted and pointed that out, where it was like, man, in this one case, Daniel Penny.
Well, no, with Daniel Penny, first of all, he had a military background.
What does that have to do?
Or he had some, because your hands are legal. It's like people with karate can't. Yes, it is. People with karate.
Can you look that up?
Well, yeah, you can. you can't. If you're a boxer, you can't be out here
fighting. Trying to fight me.
You can't be out here. You can't be out here in the street if you're a boxer fighting somebody.
That's a boxer. I'm talking about Marines, though.
Yeah, but and the thing about it was he knew what he was doing. They said he knew what he was doing, and he applied the pressure too long. They said he knew what he was doing.
That's not the case. They said he knew what he was doing. There were multiple people holding him down. And I don't think he was sitting there I'm going to choke this guy out. This other guy stabbed him with a knife.
But I'm not debating one or the other, but I'm saying I'm not familiar with the first one, but the second one, because I remember them talking about it, the prosecution felt like because of his training, he knew he was holding this guy too long, too tight, that he should have known when to let go.
Because of his training?
Yeah, because when they teach you chokeholds, Chris, they tell you, how to do it to take people out of here. How to subdue people. So they were saying based on his training that he should have known when to let go.
I can't see that being a thing where you're trying to protect other people.
Yeah, but that's not how it works, though. It's not a thought. But that's not how it works. It's just like if you shoot somebody.
And we're not even talking about. We're talking about at this point. It's really the law. We're like, we're talking about the law. So I'm not even arguing the morality of it.
But that's the point. This is the law.
Mm-hmm.
But we know, the three of us and everybody watching this knows that how they administer law is different. It sometimes is based on, you just said it, two exact things, and somebody came up with something else. So how they administer law is what the problem is.
Yeah, I was just highlighting that.
So that's what the issue is. But it's like, and I don't know because I'm not trained combat or something like that. But I know that was part of the prosecution's thing, was that he should have known that he was holding too long and putting too much pressure on him. Now I'm not going to debate because I never choked anybody out. I guess they think it's like wrestling. When you put on the hold and wrestling, you know you got to let go. But so that was the thing. And then the other thing about him is, and they found he had some racially charged stuff that apparently he had said, about crackheads and all kind of stuff like that. So I don't know. I wasn't there. I didn't follow the case that closely. But that's just the law. The law. How many innocent people go to jail? How many guilty people walk free?
I mean, yeah, but I'm not arguing. I'm highlighting the fact that the law is not necessarily kind of the same.
It's like when I was sitting down there when I went to court that time, and the guy got up and said that, forget the evidence. You got to find this person guilty. Mm-hmm. I was like, what? And an attorney stood up and said this. Forget the evidence. You got to find this person guilty.
Yes,
I was shocked. Everybody in the room looked at each other. Everybody in the room looked at each other like, did he just say that?
I'm not shocked. I feel like because I don't know. Sometimes I'm intrigued by the law and like how they finagle it to make it.
Keith Williams says once you train the laws apply to you. Yeah, but it's also
they try to finagle it to
how you pick a jury.
Yeah,
like the way they say he picked his jury.
Part of the finagling.
He had an all-white jury. So all that stuff.
All
that stuff attributes to how they come up with these conclusions. And even then, you subject it to the different. They get to choose what penalty you get.
Yeah.
Like they were talking about this guy right here. If he can prove that he's crazy, it'll be reduced to manslaughter, and he'll get 5 to 25 years instead of murder one, where he get life. So I'm like, so if he act crazy. Now, 25 years is still a long time. But
what was he read some book. What was this? It was somebody's manifesto that he read where I think he going down.
Oh, Unabomber.
Yeah, he's all out crazy.
Yeah, but this goes back, and a lot of smart people are a biscuit away from being that way because they're just so smart.
Mm-hmm. And they just I don't know trouble tortured individuals
because it's already starting. They were showing pictures of his X-rays of his back and issues and stuff he was having in his back and all kind of stuff, man. So and the thing about it,
this guy, right?
No, I'm talking about the guy the shooter guy. They would show X-rays of his back because he had the things. They show how his X-rays of his back and stuff like that. And, how he couldn't get the proper coverage. It's gonna be like that for his rest of his life. His roommate even went too far to say that he couldn't have sex with a woman without being in pain. And that's all it sounds.
Why does my roommate know all this?
you
okay in there, buddy?
I guess they talk. I guess they talk. I guess he said, "Hey, yo," because this was Hawaii. Because dude was living in Hawaii for a while.
Yeah.
So dude is well traveled. He wasn't some person that was just some mentally disturbed human being who just decided to get up on and do it. He sat in the coffee shop and did all that. So dude, it was planned out. It was premeditated.
He disappeared. He set his plan up and he went out.
It was premeditated. Yeah.
Right. But interested to see kind of how that trial plays out. I think that's going to be the trial of the century.
I think the cards are going to be
cards are going
to be a little different for him because one, he killed somebody rich. Two,
I mean, we all seen it.
But two, every CEO in the country is going to be hoping is going to be pushing for this guy to get convicted. Because the last thing they want to do is have this guy get off and it become open season on. Well, I don't like Ford because they sold me a lemon. My Toyota sucks. I got a bad burger from McDonald's last week. I mean, that's the last thing they want is to see it happen. But I think you are absolutely right. It's a sign of the times we live in.
Yeah, I'm definitely like.
So they're the one. We want to our next topic.
Definitely, just one last thing. It is something I'm going to be following and paying attention to, just because I'm intrigued to see how this plays out in the courtroom. Like, what can the defense clearly say? Like, what possibly angle are they going to take? And then also like the public, like
they're already saying.
I don't. But like when they're in there and like physically in the courtroom.
Because every show now has.
I know what they're trying to put out in advance.
But I mean, every term has these political stations now. They actually have attorneys come on. Attorneys, kind of give you the options of what they probably want to say. They try to give you idea, which I think is crazy too. Because if it is true, you blow on my defense because you put it on TV or multiple.
Put it out there for people to argue. Yeah. But definitely. I will be paying attention to that. Can't wait. Dev, I see you got your news up. What do you have on the docket for us? I know I kind of mentioned or discussed the Penny case and, some of my thoughts and feelings on that. Did you have anything, Dev?
I do. I'm going to talk about this because I have not a friend of mine, but somebody indirectly knows Haitian, and they voted for Trump. So now they're panicking because, Trump now is trying to get, if you're born in America now, you become an American citizen. He's trying to overturn it. So
wait, what? Repeat that.
If your family comes here and you're born in this country, you become an American citizen automatically.
The child does.
Yeah, the child does. But now he's trying to overturn that, so even that child won't be an American citizen. So I don't know how you're gonna find them. That's the part I'm trying to figure out. Unless you volunteer for it, but so now it's funny because now she's a little anxious about it.
I mean, how does that work? Is there like an age cutoff you're going to do? Because there's a bunch of families.
No, it's just you're
going to take generations of people out of.
If your parents are from another country, if your parents were born in Mexico and you came and you were born here, you could be deported.
No, I'm saying like what if you were born here and now you're 36?
Don't matter.
He's going to send you out.
I don't know how you're going to find it. Somebody was trying to convince me today.
At that point, you got kids. You know what I mean? Like
somebody was trying to convince me today that they could find them. I'm thinking, unless you volunteer.
That's what I'm trying to understand. Like, you literally would have to try to kick out generations of people.
But that part of the party has people generally believing that these are the people that's taking their jobs. They're the reason why gas is so high. They're the reason why the price of houses are so high. They're the reason they blame them for everything. So when you get people believing that, they go for that. So the guy who's dumping the bag of rocks thinks now he's going to get a job making 6 figures a year because which not really happened because somebody got deported.
There, I see you looking up something about
Okay,
that.
it's called birthright
Yeah,
citizenship. All right, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So what exactly does it say about the birthright citizenship?
So, in an interview, he said, an exclusive interview with Meet the Press, also said he's open to working with Democrats on legislative way to keep dreamers in the United States. So it seems like he's working on a way to
keep them
here, but at the same time, it does sound crazy.
Yeah, he came out and said, because well, you know what, they're putting pressure on him because he said he got this mass deportation thing going on. You know what they say is about 11 million. That's a lot of folks.
Yeah, it says President-elect Donald Trump, and this is NBC News, by the way. President-elect Donald Trump said in an interview with Meet the Press moderator Kristen Welker that you have no choice but to deport everyone who is illegally in the United States, including possibly removing the American citizen family members of those deported.
See?
That's great.
Yeah, but this is my point. We talked about this before. Sound bites. He said he was going to do that. He didn't go to that extent, but he said that and people voted for him. He said he was going to do it. He made it clear.
I'm still interested to know how does he intend to do that.
I don't know how either. I don't, because I asked the same question. I was talking to a Caucasian person today,
how can you,
and I was saying the same thing. I don't know how you do that.
Like if again, like it's probably somebody my age or somebody got kids or like you can want to send out generations of people like that.
How do you find them? How do you know?
When they come to the hospital, and I guess do they know when they're in the hospital potentially? Like that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, do they have that documented somewhere?
Because you're working.
It's gonna be interesting.
You're grown. You're working. You know, and when you get your job, I don't think you put on your application that my mom and dad is not from this country. So I don't know. But this is the part where
you don't. You just put whether or not you're a citizen.
So I think this is the part where, again, sound bites.
As soon as you put Hispanic, they gonna be the
Yeah, but see, that's the other thing. It's not just Hispanic. You know, there's a lot of other ethnicities who are in this country, who they'll come for a work visa or school visa and they stay.
Mm.
Now, you can't leave the country because that's when they get you when you leave. But as long as you stay here.
These next couple years.
Yeah.
Starting next month, are you ready?
Be careful what you ask for.
Like,
and you can't be mad at him because he told you what he was going to do. He made it clear.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm just going to sit back, watch how things play out. I mean, it's going to be a rough couple 4 years. I think it's going to be a point in time where some people have their awakening.
Because they're talking about
when they see man, this is actually really crazy.
Well, you heard what he said about that.
Yeah.
That he, the purge. That he think we should.
I heard that a while ago.
He think we should have a 24 hours.
He didn't say that again, though, did he?
No, but I'm saying, this was all the stuff he was saying during his campaign.
Crazy.
So I don't know why people are surprised now that he's doing this. He said he told you.
The purge.
He told you. Dude is like, yo, he wants to get rid of the Constitution. He wants to have a dictatorship. He wants to be president until he dies.
Who knows? That might not be too much longer.
He ain't thinking like that.
He old. Like this,
he is old, but he's not thinking like that. But he don't think like that.
Probably think he could just take some serum or something like that. So that's why I'm working with Elon Musk.
This, if we go back to sound bites, we live in a country, people don't listen anymore, man. They don't read, they don't research. It's just sound. It's no different than sports. Look at sports. How people just repeat stuff over and over and over again. Right. No matter how crazy it is.
Funny thing about sports, I saw that there was I don't know, people were upset with certain players doing like the little celebration, the Donald Trump dance. And I'm like, why are people
hilarious?
I'm like, why are y'all mad at that? Like, who cares? Is that big of a deal? Like that people are being silly, and it's like, I don't care that much to see that. Do you have a feeling or thought about that? Like, it's like dudes, they get their touchdown, they just. I saw Bobby Portis do that the other day, like in an NBA game. Like he made a buzzer beater. He did the little down the throat.
But see, that's people who just need to get a life.
What? That care that they doing it?
I mean, who cares? I mean, it's just like when people were complaining about, when Kaepernick was kneeling. Go to the bathroom.
That's
go
the
get some
same
popcorn.
thing I thought about. I was like, it's like that
turn
a
the
little
TV
bit.
off,
Where
turn
it's
the
just like,
volume down. What's the big
why
deal?
you care?
You got a bunch of men who they having fun.
You here to watch the overall sport. You want to get down to something so intricate as how they celebrate now.
It'd be different if you just started humping on the goalpost and started doing
Right,
something
or doing
crazy.
something
Some
crazy.
exotic dance.
They
taking
just
off
sitting there like, dude, like, come on.
Oh, and you know, and the thing about it is a lot of stuff is choreographed now. You know, because one person, they come down, they do different things, they like this spot. I don't know. I think, but see, and I say this, and I know people don't like it when I say this. I think a lot of that's directed because black athletes.
Yes.
And instead of getting this like people who vote for Trump, they agree with his politics. And it's the same thing. It's because it's black athletes, so it's a big deal.
Yeah,
it's a big deal.
I look at it like that.
It is. And so, but to me, they're having fun. You know, it's not like that they're doing some exotic dance, man, rubbing the towel between their legs.
Doing one more thrust and
is acceptable. Rubbing on themselves. You know.
Yeah, just second thrust, no more thrust.
It's a game, but I think
they try to take the fun out of it a little bit, man.
Well, because to me, there's some people who just want to have control over everything. And
I do feel like, because even in basketball, I hate watching it now where, you know, they dunk on somebody, you can't even look at them anymore. Like, the stare down, or you can't, like, it takes out that competitive fire. Like, they try to take the emotion out of the game. Soon I guarantee they're gonna be like, you can't celebrate when you make a three.
But they don't see it as, I mean,
they try and have it out there like tennis.
It's the same thing. It's
quiet.
It's the same thing in football.
Unless you shooting the
ball.
It's
the same thing in football. You know, that is just certain things you just can't do. You know, it's certain things you can't. Like the guy, it's fun. What team was that? I'm watching the game and they showing the highlight. The guy was running and he tried to go around the referee, and the referee backed into him, and they kicked the dude out the game for touching the official.
Really?
Yeah, and they got a tape. You know, the guy was almost like, "Excuse me," and they kicked him out of the game for touching the official. So like they always do, they come back and apologize after the game.
It drives me nuts. It's like it's
control, but
right. It is just visibly this display of control and power that I feel like they abuse.
Of course they do,
and like have taken to a whole nother level of like trying to impact the game almost and like stop guys that you can't celebrate. Like, really? And it's like the game is just so emotional, and like I think just being an athlete, you know, like your emotions are involved. Like you get excited, all the work that you put in to get a bucket or do something. It's funny just like natural.
That's the very thing that makes the
game
good.
Comes out
when you see people emotions. When you see a guy crying or make a great catch or something, now I don't want to see him run around the field 8 times. They got to hold the game up. But I mean, that makes the game special to me. That's a part of the game. If a guy makes it, he gets up and that's
right.
Okay.
I couldn't imagine seeing somebody get dunked on all the time.
Or like when you watch the Eagles and Kenny Gainwell scored and Barkley runs 20 yards down the sideline to greet him in the end zone to get that's cool. That's pretty cool.
It's like part of being part of something and like seeing your team win and like I don't know. It's just kind of in a way thinking and seeing things getting soft nowadays.
Yeah, I do want to, get your opinion on this, by the way, just because I feel like this is actually pretty interesting news pertaining to the sports world. What do you think of Bill Belichick becoming the North Carolina head coach?
People were cracking up. Well, it's funny because these 3 NFL dudes were cracking up when they heard that, man, because they don't think you're going to take the job. They think it's a joke. But he says he's considering taking the coaching college. But he's going to be in a rude awakening, man. It's different.
They can go one of two ways.
They can.
Either he's gonna get a lot of people because he'll have that cachet, Super Bowl winning head coach.
Yeah, but the thing is
he going to recruit?
But the difference is this though. Deion is younger. Deion can relate to them. Belichick, man, he's talking about different decades, bro. You talking about a guy who wants to run like a boot camp to now college players making all this money. You know, it's not
that's an interesting part.
Now it's a whole different ball game, man. Well, now the guys, because he got to do what you say, because he's trying to get the NFL to make this money. They making his money. Some of them guys are never going to make the NFL, but they're making good money.
Yeah.
So as a coach, you got to balance that. As a coach, you got to figure out, and I think that happens. So I think a lot of college coaches get in trouble when they come into the pros, because they come in with the wrong attitude. And I think vice versa, every pro coach don't make it down there because it's different.
Yeah, but I mean, I think he might be a little successful because he does have like the pedigree of being a Super Bowl champion and being in the NFL.
But it seems sucked the last couple of years he was in it. So
it's still the idea of being like part of the NFL and having that.
But is he the same guy?
Then also, I think as long as he get like a good,
but he had a Tom Brady too.
Staff, like if he could get some quality people around him, you would hope like this experience of him like not being able to get a job after the NFL may have humbled him.
But the reason why they said he couldn't get a job,
it sounds like a little bit.
The reason why he couldn't get a job is they said he wanted total control.
Yeah,
and he demonstrated.
He can go do that in college.
He demonstrated his last couple of years in New England that he wasn't ready for total control.
He can go do that in college. You have all the control you want there.
Well, it's hard to go back. It's hard to go back to listening to a GM when you were the GM behind these multiple people.
Well, if you want to coach, it's very few guys who have that kind of power now because most guys can't handle
it. Yeah, I mean, that's all.
I'd be comfortable with him if he had more power.
What, with the Patriots?
Yeah.
Did you take him back?
His past.
Oh, no, not now. I'm talking if I was a new team. If I was the Cowboys.
Responsible for Mac Jones, bro.
The Cowboys.
Say if I was the Cowboys.
No.
He
responsible for Mac Jones, man.
He had plenty of other picks too.
Yeah, but lately they haven't been good.
He also picked Rob Gronkowski.
Lately they have been. He also picked Hernandez too.
So that's not. He was a monster on the field.
He was off the field too. No, what I'm saying is though, I just think the game. I think sometimes as coaches the game pass you by because you try to coach the same way you did. And it doesn't work. Like I think Larry Brown found that out, that he couldn't coach modern players the way he did, because back when he first started coaching, he was making more money than players. Now you coaching, most of the players make more money than you.
Yeah.
So when it's time to get rid of somebody, they get rid of you now. They don't get rid of the players. Yeah. So and I think another thing, you can't holler and scream at millionaires.
Yeah, I mean it was crazy. So speaking of millionaires, I did want to make sure we talked about this today.
What?
Soto and his contract with the Mets, $765 million for 15 years. My son's playing baseball.
But that's all I got to say. Is it guaranteed? Because a lot of those contracts are not guaranteed.
I think it is.
A lot of those contracts, it's still a lot of money, are guaranteed up front. Because 15 years is a long time.
Could be more bonuses. What are you getting? Like these contracts,
runs you get, how many stolen bases you get, how many at bats you get.
But what's wild is like thinking. I remember when kind of those first $300 million contracts started coming out, and we were just like, "Yo, that's wild, $300 million," and now it's like more than double that. And then it's in my mind, I'm like, "Wow, are we going to see in our lifetime $1 billion baseball player?"
Yeah, because you know what's happening right now. Back when it first started out, they had no deals. Then you got some deals. Now you got major TV deals, man. You got people like TNT, Fox bidding for this stuff, man. So
crazy.
It's on TV now. So again, this goes back to your thing about the media, man. So people are bidding for these contracts.
He's got a $75 million signing bonus. He's going to make $51 million per year.
$220 million. For the first 5 years, $44 million.
Which are probably about to be most, because in baseball is one of them things, and there's some exceptions, but most of your skills, how old is it? Your skills are deteriorating.
I think he's going to be playing to what, like 42, 44 or something?
You paying a 42-year-old dude that kind of money, you crazy.
Right. Oh my goodness.
There's very few guys who made it to 42 and stayed in the league. That's why this was a guarantee. It's probably not guaranteed. Because there's very few guys who play baseball at 42.
Nonetheless, the fact that they put those numbers down,
I'm pretty sure he's 26
on paper for this guy is wow.
Teams want to win.
Oh my goodness.
They want to win. And if you're in a major market like New York and you used to the Yankees always winning, you got to compete, bro.
I should have been playing baseball. I should have stayed.
You got to compete.
Should have stayed. You got to
compete. And if you're the Mets, the Yankees hasn't won recently, but the Yankees are used to winning. They always get more everything than you.
How many years do you think we see $1 billion baseball player?
It depends on how the game evolves. The game keeps evolving. I think in the next 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah, and the next 10 years, if the game keeps evolving, because it's all based on TV money and advertising.
Mm.
I mean, okay, look at it.
What position do you think? Because Otani, I think. Do you
Well,
think
he's
it'd be
rare.
some? I was about to say,
He's
do you think it'd be
rare,
somebody like that?
He's rare. Yeah, you're definitely somebody. If you can throw the ball almost 100 miles an hour and hit the ball 500 feet, yeah.
It gotta be somebody like that.
Yeah. There's gonna be somebody. But if you go back and study the game, it's like now, people batting 230 get $1 million contracts. Back in the day, 230 was a terrible batting average, man. You wouldn't get no top dollar batting 230. Now, if you bat 230, 240, yo, you getting paid big bucks.
Right.
You know, so I mean, I think because things have changed. One, stadium deals have changed. Where teams had to build their own stadiums back in the day, raise the money. Now you got the cities, cities and different organizations sponsoring the stadiums. So now you got bigger, better stadiums. So I'm just telling you. So the money from the media and from the municipalities, that's why the Sixers want to build downtown and not in Camden. Because it's going to be different cash flows.
So I mean, I could see again like baseball getting to that bill. I see other sports kind of their revenue and stuff like that rising up too, because football players, their contracts are starting to get.
I think
they get more guaranteed.
I think basketball's starting to slip a little bit.
You think it's slipping?
Yeah, I think more people are starting to gravitate to other sports. Basketball, because Philadelphia, back when the Sixers was winning playoffs every year, they were barely selling out. This was with the Eagles were always selling out. The Eagles and the Flyers and the Phillies. So basketball wasn't always the number. It was Philly used to be more of a college town. Temple, the Big Five Classic with Temple, Villanova, and St. Joe's. They were playing LaSalle.
If they go back to that, you think ticket prices go down?
No, because people paying to see now. You it's supply and demand.
Like go back to not being a basketball.
But I think if you look back to where we are now.
Ticket prices cheap right now.
Super cheap.
Well, that's my name. Well, that needs to. Well, I want to talk about this. This Jalen Hurts thing, but I also want to talk about this Embiid, man, because he's getting dogged by the people in the league. Pros in the league are dogging him, man.
Well, we got 9 minutes, so we can try to split.
Yeah,
I don't even know. I don't know what's going on with Embiid.
Yeah, I didn't know.
He's not playing back-to-back games. So what makes it worse is I don't know who the genius that came up with it. Him and Paul George have been missing the last game.
Which is dumb. They need to do.
Yeah, but missing it. So I don't understand it. Missed the thing. And then even last game he played, he had a knee problem.
I mean, like, how can
knee problem?
It's like, how can we blame him for his health? Like, his body's breaking down on him.
Yeah, but you got to take care of your body, man. And I don't know the story. They say he on the sidelines eating a hamburger while eating a double hamburger while he getting worked on.
That was back in the day,
and ain't still back in the day. I remember that. He comes every year. He comes to camp overweight. This year he did because he did play in the Olympics, but he shows up overweight every year. Every year it takes him X amount of games to play himself into shape. You can't. And this is a different kind of game. This is not the game where the big guy didn't run. Now these guys will run up and down the floor.
Mm. Well, we're in 12th place right now.
They're saying 7 and 15. That's
bad.
That's bad. But you could definitely in the East, especially.
No, but you cannot play in every other game.
Oh yeah,
they gotta play. Yeah,
we definitely could come back from that.
Not playing every other game, man.
Be a play-in or
you need especially you paid all that money for a big three. You need to have your big three on the floor, not the big two, the big 1.5.
Maybe that 7th, 8th seed.
Not the way they play now. They're not gonna make that 7th, 8th seed.
I mean, they ain't too far back.
There's a lot of games left.
Yeah, it is.
They won 2 in a row.
Who they beat? Come on, man.
Charlotte
and the Bulls.
Teams that we try to get in front of. We passed Charlotte.
You ain't here like you talking like they play teams to somebody to the buzzer. Yeah,
now it's the Pistons and the Bulls.
We played them to the buzzer.
The Pistons, the Bulls, and the Pacers.
And they lost to the Pistons already this year.
I'm telling the Pistons not going to be that bad this year.
Man, they gonna taper off. They too young.
Yeah. Any team with
any
team with a newborn from the Sixers, man. I don't know.
Tobias, him and Paul George are averaging the same stats.
Okay, I wouldn't expect you playing Paul George. I said that.
Podcast. Hey.
I said that. No, man.
Kevin Mason, they not call because he called himself playoff P. They not calling him that.
Well, the Jalen Hurts thing. I want to talk about this Jalen Hurts thing, man, because that's a big topic everywhere. is going to cause the Eagles to collapse. Now everybody's blaming Hurts for everything that's wrong. It's crazy, man. It's been a crazy topic, man.
I mean,
people have been burying them too.
It highlights how crazy our city is, where we just can't be happy or satisfied with winning, because the team, like we are doing well. Of course, it don't look as pretty as probably wanted to be, but it's
I'm laughing because I was watching some sports thing, man, and that's all the guy kept saying the whole show. Man, they just won 9 straight games. They 11-2. He said, he just kept saying it over and over and over. He said, yeah. Why? But because I think it just goes back to one. I'm gonna get in trouble saying this. I don't think most Philly fans are as knowledgeable about sports as everybody thinks they are. I think, well, for instance, when I hear somebody say, okay, Hurts is only, or Barkley is only good because of offensive line. Well, an offensive line, you can't be a good quarterback without an offensive line. You can't, you got it. That's part of having a game, but you still got to have the skill set to run the ball through the holes, or when people say that, Hurts has done nothing. He was winning before AJ and before they got here. So it's sound bites.
Yeah.
Like even now, and somebody said this about 3 weeks ago, that to be careful because the media was going to start kind of put them against each other, and that's what it is now, man.
I mean, some of it is.
That's what Chris said about
they doing it to themselves. They do talk too much. Like just talking. Like,
well, let me ask you a question.
Between AJ Brown, his response, and then also with Graham and him going on the radio. Thing? What, talk too much?
Yeah, that you feel like you have to respond to everything.
Yes.
Yeah. Y'all both said that like super quick, like yes.
I do think.
But why?
It's this idea. I mean, we kind of. I kind of referenced it in the way when we were talking about. We talk about a lot of things. People just supersede like their morals and anything else outside for how they feel and what they think, and they just feel like they can say and think what they want, and there's no repercussion for it, and nobody else's thoughts or feelings matter. And then it's just like kind of this cycle of just people just saying how they feel without listening to anybody. Like that's the type of time we into that.
Why do you feel like you have to respond to everything?
If I don't, then I feel like someone got the better of me.
Oh,
just from not speaking for myself.
I don't know. That's kind of great.
No, it's not. But really, that's part of it too.
No, I believe it. I
believe it. Feeling like you got the better of me.
I was talking to somebody and they said what you would have done. And I would have answered the question totally different. I would have said, well, we got some work to do on offense. I would have said, we're not clicking on offense.
I'm like, we could be better.
I would have said that. I wouldn't have said just passing. Even if
he said it so fast.
Even if he didn't mean it that way, you know how everybody is around here. Hurts can't have an off day. If you have an off day, he's the worst quarterback in the history of the league. And
it's a direct shot, honestly, because there's one person the ball.
And the thing that got me most, that's supposed to be your boy.
It's supposed to,
that's the reason why you came
here.
I came here because I wanted to play with him.
It's like you called them out in the media, honestly, when you said passing. Like, this is definitely something you could have said to him.
And then
you could have said, like, offensively we could be better, and that's a broader thing.
Well, but I think it's crazy too because I didn't hear him crying when he was getting all 10 and 12 balls thrown his way a game. And Goddard was
dropped some passes.
And Goddard was getting. I said he cost him 2 games when they had the slide last year. He fumbled it in the one game.
In the past couple of weeks.
Well, you can't say that. He doesn't. Not according to him. And my point is, Hurts has been playing bad this last game. But Hurts said something that's key. I only can play what I'm called. I can only run the play that's called.
Still gotta go through progression.
So if you call it 19, but you know how many things, it's easy to sit back. It's easy to look at the instant replay and sit there and say, this guy's open. But
he had an ability to call audibles too.
But see, this is the problem because that's what got Wentz in trouble. First, everybody says you throw the ball too much. You careless with the ball. You throw the ball. You're trying to force feed it to AJ Brown. So he stopped doing it. Now everybody saying you got to get AJ Brown the ball at all costs. Y'all gotta, you got a back that's about to set the record. This about to break the record. Even if not, he broke the franchise record. That's a big deal. And he's put is less wear and tear on you for the playoffs. Because eventually he's going to like against Pittsburgh, they probably had to throw the ball. Because Pittsburgh is probably going to dare them to beat him with his arm. Pittsburgh is probably going to say,
that should be a interesting game. Pittsburgh.
But what happened to the team? What happened to I want to win the championship more than anything else? That just has seemed to elude so many players now.
People just be talking.
It's about my stats. Like I think that's Embiid's problem. Even you worry about MVP instead of winning the championship.
Even the idea of winning the championship sometimes is empty because it doesn't even come at the cause. Like I'm not going to work for it. I'm going to chase the best situation to try to get.
I agree.
You know?
I agree.
So I think like that's why it's championships almost in a way has started to be really been. I don't want to say watered down, but it's like guys make it where it's like,
So I think,
certain people where it's like, all right, that guy earned it. That guy, he chased it.
Well, for some people, it's a participation trophy.
That too.
I was on a team.
Shout out to Jeff T.
I was on a team. I got a ring.
I got a group project.
I got a ring, man.
I got a champion.
I'm a champion. I don't know. I just think we, to summarize what we're talking about, I think what we're experiencing now in the last 30 days is I think you're seeing the shift in society. I think you're seeing it, man, the way we think, our sense of right and wrong, our morality. I think so many people have become numb to stuff, man, that, somebody getting murdered is not that big a deal. When mass shootings happen, people used to be the next, people was crying, upset, now people just get up and move on. Like, yeah, did you hear about the mass shooting?
Instagram jokes.
It's like I remember Columbine High School, I remember kind of things happen a little bit more frequently, and like you said, Sandy Hook,
and now people just move, they just keep going, man. Okay.
Yeah. Sad.
It is.
We definitely been getting desensitized to just kind of a lot more of the tragic things that we should feel some type of way about. But
I know we're about to close. I know Chris is going to say it because we're at that time. But a couple things I want to do. One, I want to plug Justin on Thursday nights. I always call
Thursday nights.
I always call it the Krusty Krab.
Crafty Crab.
I call it the
Crafty
Krusty
Crab in Abington.
I'm telling you the Lowe's, and he's saying the Krusty Krab.
No, Crafty Crab Thursdays in Abington off of Old York Road, starting at 7 o'clock. Come in there, get you some food, get some comedy.
Yeah.
If you're a comic, you can come in there, sign up. Open mic for the first half, but guaranteed you're going to have some laugh. Great comedians that come in there. Usually that travel around, you can see them and pay for them, but you can come in there and find them for free. There's just a donation at the end. That's all they ask for. That's not required, but I guarantee you're going to have a good time. You're going to want to donate your money. So
we should do a show for one night.
We should do a show. I guarantee you, come in there, you're going to have a good time.
And we can plug our because say the date for February 14th.
Yes. And that's the more details to follow about
that. We're talking about we have a comedy show.
Yeah, more details to follow about that. Comedy
what they talking about?
Is going to be presented to you shortly. But check out my homie Justin Lamar, friend of the show. He actually is going to come and spend some time with us. I spoke to him before today. But
you gotta get my man on here, Tommy.
Tommy Too Smooth.
I was trying to find his movie on Tubi, I couldn't find it.
I'm gonna definitely get in touch with him. We'll get the details for that too, because Tommy's hilarious, and definitely want to get him out in front of more people too. So
it makes fun.
Definitely, it was a good time at his previous show. I feel like it heard a lot of positive reviews, and like I said, Thursdays just as much of a good time as that show on Friday. So
yeah, man. He introduced a bunch of folks to senior citizen. Anyway.
Yes, this Toy Store
2024. Man, we're going to be at the Discovery Center on Saturday, December 21st from 9:30 to 2:30. It's 341 Reservoir Drive. We are currently accepting donations of new toys, not slightly used, not a car with 3 wheels, new toys.
New toys.
Not a doll with an eye patch. New toys.
Unless it came like that.
And new coats. We accept donations. You can go to my website, www.familiescommunity.org. www.familiescommunities.org. You can reach my phone number on there. If you want to donate, you can make a donation through that because we are accepting donations.
Money, gift cards,
because we
all
go
types
out,
of things.
We have a donor who gives us toys, but we go out and we spend literally a couple $1,000s every year, man, buying stuff to fill in the gaps for the place. And we go out and do it. So it's not like we do it and we just do everything online. We actually go out and hand pick stuff out. So that's the thing. We gift wrap. So the way it works is hit me on the website. You get signed up for it. The ages we're doing this year are 1 to 12. But you can get signed up for it because you have to be signed up for it. You get assigned the time. You get to come down. You get to pick out your own gifts for your kids, and we gift wrap, and it's all free.
Yeah. So if you want to show love by donating, of course, we appreciate that. If you want to volunteer your time, we're looking for that too. If you can wrap a gift.
And donations, again, I want to say you can do Cash App, $ L as in leading, B as in by, and E as example, Pender, my last name, PEND. All right, don't be laughing though. Leading by example, Pender. That's right. You can do PayPal, which is the same thing, LBE Pender, or you can go to my website and do it. So please, every penny counts. People have donated $5, $10, $25 because again, we buy the wrapping paper. Everything is at a cost to us. We don't charge for anything. So again, my website, www.familiescommunity.org. You can go there, check it out. You can send me a note through the website. If you call a number, I got a virtual office that you can leave a message. I'll get back to you. So there's multiple ways. Again, that's Saturday, December 21st. We'll be at the Discovery Center.
Awesome.
3401 Reservoir Drive, Philadelphia, PA 19121 in the Strawberry Mansion section of the city.
Anything else?
North Philly. Yeah, that'll be my plug in there. Don't be laughing, man.
Another great episode. Thank you guys for tuning in and listening to Above Average Black Men. Stay safe out here. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great rest of your evening. Check us out on all platforms. Like, follow, subscribe.